She comes on here talking about a chopped man epidemic looking like that. What the hell is going on? Is nobody telling these women that they're ugly and that they need to lower their standards? Do you have any like self-aware? I don't know what to, I'm lost for words. I don't know. Are these 304s getting like really hot dudes or something? Why do they think, why would this woman think that a chopped man is not exactly the only thing that she can get?
Hey friends, this is T again with another reaction video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a reaction on LEONARDA JONIE. I think that's her name. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, okay? She is a comedian, a female comedian. Very, very funny. I've seen some of her skits and I've seen some of her videos, and she is outrageous. I mean, she did an interview with Roseanne Barr, and you know how outrageous Roseanne Barr is, and she's even crazier than her, okay? This woman do not filter anything she says. It just says in the title, right? She's doing this video on women are retarded, part 2. Now I've seen part 1 and I've seen a little bit of part 2, so I decided to do a reaction to it. I mean, I was laughing at the beginning, so I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna laugh throughout this thing, okay? Now I probably won't be doing a reaction to the whole thing, but I'm gonna be doing a reaction to it, to a good amount of it, okay? I mean, this woman is a trip. And I wonder if she's demonetized, man. For all the stuff she says, man, it is crazy that she's getting away with it, right? I mean, but she's not completely getting away with it, because there's a lot of places that she do comedy at, they canceled her. They might be becoming a little bit light on canceling her these days, but in the past, when, you know, canceling was pretty high, they was canceling her like left and right. But did that slow her down? Did that keep her from speaking her mind? Not at all. And I believe she's also Italian, so a lot of them, you know, the stereotype is the women speak their mind regardless, so she definitely do that. Now you also got to excuse, it might be some thunderstorms happening right now. You might hear that in the background, possibly. Hopefully you won't. But just to let you know, just in case you hear some like thundering or whatever, right? It's supposed to rain for a little bit, and I didn't expect the thunderstorm though, but it's supposed to be raining a little bit today. But regardless, I'm going to go ahead and continue doing the reaction to this, okay? But before we do, please like, subscribe, and share this video. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you know whenever we come out with new videos, okay? All right, let's get with it.
Folks, there is an epidemic of ugly women online complaining that men are not handsome enough for them. You heard it right. Ugly women who don't know they're ugly complaining about the men that they are well suited for.
She is a trip, man. But she does make a point. You don't see gorgeous women online complaining about men. All they're doing is making money, and you know, you see them doing selfies in like faraway lands and countries, and you know, wearing all these new outfits and driving these expensive cars. They don't spend time trashing men, okay? Now, they probably do that behind the scenes. They probably talk about men, you know, the good and the bad or whatever, but they don't go online and do it. It's usually the average looking women or the ones that are not so attractive that be doing it, okay? I mean, they be trashing guys these days for everything they do, man. Even when guys try to talk to him, they put him on TikTok and trash him. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. But she make a good point, and that's the reason why I want to do this reaction, man. She made good points because the ones that are complaining the most are the ones that are the least attractive.
What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. Women have been lying to each other for the last, how long has feminism been going on? Well, however long that is. And it's really ramped up in the last 20 to 30 years where we've seen this body positivity, everyone's beautiful, everyone's valuable bullshit. So now what we have is an epidemic of level 4, 5, 6, 304s thinking that they are God's gift to men. And the irony is totally lost on them when the internet has been reacting with absolute vitriol towards them because it seems as if they don't own a mirror. Let's start with
She is something else. Now, this is not new. Most of the stuff that I've seen her do in part one is a lot of red pill stuff, okay? And I got to give Myron Gaines and Fresh credit because they started all this, okay? And even though they got, canceled or demonetized or whatever, they still continue to do it. At least Myron does. So, I mean, Fresh is doing more entertainment type stuff, and a lot of people thought that they split up, but they still do their show. But they also do separate things, which is smart. You got to diversify these days, right? Because you don't know one of these social media platforms will cancel you. And she's good to go as well because she still do comedy. So she don't highly rely on social media. And plus she got married, I think, recently. So I'm sure her man makes money too. So she can come on social media and say anything she wants. Now, like me, for example, I'm not able to do it. I couldn't do this because I am a man. And something about social media won't allow men to speak their mind, not the way she's doing it. So I can't do it. And plus, I rely on a lot of things to make money. So I just can't go out there and just be saying anything I want and not get canceled, okay? She can probably get away with most things. I mean, she's not immune completely, but she can get away with most things because she is a woman. All right, and critiquing women for a woman is very easy and you can get away with most things. But most of the stuff she be saying is red pill, okay? And now that's becoming popular. I'm seeing more and more people say it, women and men. And it was Fresh and Fit was doing this at the beginning. And Rollo Tomasi, of course, but I'm talking about in a harsh way. Because Rollo Tomasi approach it in a more logical sense. He's not as insulting. But when you see Myron, right, he be cutting women to pieces, man. He don't care. And now I'm starting to see this kind of attitude more and more. And I'm also learning that a lot of women out there are doing a lot of this stuff for shock value as well, okay? They say a lot of crazy stuff, like Bonnie Blue, for example, right? Saying outrageous things just to get clicks and attention, okay? So I'm not really surprised that this is starting to become popular.
patient 0. Now you'll notice she's Asian. That means 4 points taken off automatically on the attractive scale. I don't make...
No. Look, maybe in this case, okay? But there's a lot of hot Asian women out there. I can't totally agree with you, okay? But this is what she does, man. She poked the bear. She say a lot of stuff. She say stuff about black people too, especially black men, how we like fat women and stuff like that. She integrate this stuff in her comedy skits too, right? So you just got to take it that way and not get offensive because this is what comedy is all about. She got to say things like this. And I'm not surprised this kind of stuff's coming out of her mouth. She wants to just piss people off, just to bring people to her channel, to bring people to her comedy skits and shows and stuff like this. So I'm not surprised. And look, I know some people are going to get offended. I don't think she care, but I think most people are going to appreciate the way she does her comedy anyway. But she is right about this particular girl. Because this girl, I mean, she is considered either mid or below mid, all right? And there's a lot of women, because I've seen this girl too, because somebody else did a reaction to this particular video of her. And they mentioned that a lot of women, especially mid women, are coming up there calling her attractive, saying she's gorgeous and beautiful, like what she said at the beginning, women lying to each other. It's really crazy stuff, man. But this, I just love where she's going with this.
Up the rules It is what it is. Now, if you are a boomer or a man over 65 with a retirement plan who's on his third divorce, you get 4 more points for attractiveness as an Asian. I don't make the rules. It's just what it is.
All very much aware we are living through a chopped man epidemic, and there's...
Okay, before I continue, chopped man, I just learned this, and it... Right now, this is not going all through the internet right now. This girl, I'm assuming, started it, this chop man. And from my understanding of that is unattractive men. That's what she's talking about, okay? These mid women are offended because there's too many chop men out there, unattractive men. You know, and I think she's going to make fun of this because it's these women complaining about it. It's not gorgeous women. Gorgeous women, if they're not attracted to somebody, they just avoid it. You know what I mean? They're not trying to get on social media and start insulting men and stuff like that. It don't make them look bad. These women, on the other hand, don't care. They don't care what it makes them look like. But, you know, just like she said, there's usually unattractive women on the internet doing this.
Big shortage of baddies. It's gone so bad to the point that, like, if I see an attractive man, it genuinely makes my day. I was walking on the sidewalk earlier and I saw a cute guy in his car, so I waved to him and he smiled back at me, and obviously he drove away after that. But I was like, oh my god, a cute guy? This was at 6:50 p.m. It's 7:17 and I'm still like, oh my god. And I feel like this is gonna empower me through my evening. Like, wow, I actually saw an attractive man today. Like,
damn, she acted like she saw like a rare animal or some freaking meteorite or something. There are a lot of guys out there that are attractive, okay? You know, it varies, but there are attractive men out there. She make it seem like it's a rarity, like she saw Bigfoot or something. I mean, but you know, this is what they do to insult men. This is their thing, okay? They basically saying all men out there are unattractive and all this kind of stuff. But that changes when they reach a certain age and life hasn't gone the way they want. They didn't find the kind of man they felt like they deserve. Then all of a sudden they start all this insults. And then they'll come online and start saying, you know, stuff I said in the past, I was wrong. I think men are great and all this kind of junk. Because at that point, they're pretty desperate. You know what I'm saying? She looked like she's still pretty young, so she can get on the internet and start insulting people and stuff.
I'm in the rough, needle in the haystack, seriously. So as we're all very much aware...
Right. She comes on here talking about a chop man epidemic looking like that. What the hell is going on? Is nobody telling these women that they're ugly and that they need to lower their standards?
See, I couldn't say that. You know what I'm saying? Most men can't say that. We can't just go on social media and say that kind of stuff. It's censored. You know what I mean? And, you know, and then, you know, we be honest about these things, just like they being honest. We'll get, like, attacked and be called misogynist, and all of a sudden we part of the patriarchy and all this kind of stuff, right? And then, I mean, women will come out the woodwork to come after you, okay? You might even get reported for doing it, but she can get away with it, though. She can be honest and say that kind of stuff. And I think that's why so many men like her. And she knows this too, because she not only using her attractiveness to bring men into her channel, but she also trying to, you know, be honest and tell her like it is when it comes down to modern dating and women and stuff like that. That's why I mean, she knows what she's doing. She's being strategic, but at the same time, she's funny too, man. So I got to give her credit.
Do you have any like self-aware? I don't know I'm lost for words. I don't know. Are these 304s getting like really hot dudes or something? Why would this woman think that a chopped man is not exactly the only thing that she can get? I'll tell you why. Because they're hoes. Hoes are sleeping around and they're sleeping with men way above their league. And this makes them think, ooh, I'm attractive enough to get this man. That means that's the only level that I'm gonna date. Now let me...
Okay, that's old red pill stuff. Most of us hear it. It's just, I think the reason why people like her is the way she's putting it. And plus, she's saying a lot of things men can't say. Now, Fresh and Fit says it too, but they got demonetized. So she's doing it too, and I don't think she have the fear of being demonetized because she probably make money other places. I think she just use YouTube just to bring attention, like I said, to her shows and stuff, so she can be honest, and she'll last a lot longer because it'll take a while before YouTube will demonetize or anything like that. Okay, if they even do it at all. But I think they just like it the way she's saying it. It's not that she's saying anything new, but they just like it the way what she's saying.
Tell you something, sweetie. Men will sleep with a range of anything. Now, not all men. There are high quality, like that guy you saw in the car. Notice that he drove away. Does that tell you something? He drove away, sweetie. Do you think if you were Angelina Jolie and you waved to him, he would have drove away? No, he would have pulled over and he would have asked for your number.
Yeah, that's how it works. If you see a pretty girl there and she's smiling and waving at you, stuff like that, you would have pulled over. I remember a couple of times I was in that situation. I almost like hit another car, man, trying to do a U-turn. Yeah, I think about my younger years, man. I did some stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I know what she's talking about, though. She's right. She's right. I don't know about Angelina Jolie. Maybe when she was young. I don't know about now, though. But when men see an attractive woman, they will go out of their way to try to talk to them, especially if they wave at them or something like that. The guy just left. But it's amazing, this woman. I'm going to just call it mid right now. This mid woman is able to go on social media and just assault men. I mean, maybe she angry, maybe she not getting what she want, who knows, stuff like that. But it's amazing that they decide to get on there thinking this might be a plus for them. They might get clicks, they might even get agreements from other women, but I don't see how it'll help them in the long run. But, you know, they're brave enough to do it, I guess.
That tells you something. Cut it out, okay? Because you're sleeping with men way more attractive than you, and you think that you can get that man. And what you don't understand is they're just using you. And I know you grew up in the post-feminist era that told you that, oh, we're all equal, and a man sleeping with a woman is the same as a woman sleeping with a man, and you're using him too. I know you live in La La Land, but none of that's true. None of it's true. Because men, they can bounce back from a sexual interaction and have no emotional recourse from it. Okay, men can bounce back from a sexual interaction. It can mean nothing to them. And I know that there's a lot of you out there who like, doesn't mean anything to me either. If that's where you're genuinely at, I feel sorry for you. You have broken something inside of you that is sacred in womanhood, that's about bonding.
You know, it's interesting too when you really think about it. How do women keep supporting other women when they step outside of womanhood? And what I mean by that is, like, you know, we don't accept, men don't accept feminine men. We don't. I'm not saying we hate them or anything like that, though. But when it comes down to our men groups and we pick men to be in our groups and we see that a man is feminine, we don't accept them in that group. And we don't even consider them men in a way because they obviously want to portray themselves as feminine. So we don't really accept them in our groups. And it's amazing that women don't do the same. You know, I mean, they accept everybody, it seems, but you know, you would think if a woman want to act like a man, talk like a man, sleep around like a man, do all these things, you'd be thinking that they would like, kind of like, no, we don't want you part of this group. But we don't do this kind of stuff. We like to keep our femininity. So you're not part of it. Like men do. Men don't, like I say, look, if I had a feminine cousin, I'm not going to just like, you know, disregard him. You know what I mean? But I'm just talking about just another dude, okay? He act really feminine. I ain't saying gay either. I'm just saying feminine. We really don't want to include him on the group because it's kind of stuff that we are interested in doing, chasing women, whatever. We don't think that person will be effective or, you know, really interested in the things we want to do because we want to do a more masculine type thing. So this person can't really chide with us. Now, you probably can know this person on an individual basis, but you don't want them really to be part of the men's group. And men won't exactly, you know, defend a man like that, okay? But women tend to do that, man. They see these women acting like dudes, but they still come out for their defense for some reason. You would think that they were like, nah, we can't include you because obviously you got other ideas of what a woman is. And It has nothing to do with what we think a woman is, because we feminine and we want to act feminine. We want to be in groups with feminine women and we want to do feminine things. Obviously, you don't. I mean, look at a lot of these basketball players, the WNBA. A lot of these women act like dudes, man. So how do you keep trying to include them in women femininity in their groups? It doesn't make any sense because men don't do that. Women do, man. It's weird.
And the feminists have stole this from you because they hate you and they want you to be miserable.
Yeah.
And I know you think I'm really mean, but I'm actually somebody who's being incredibly compassionate right now because I'm telling you a truth that's going to help you out of your misery. So I've prepared a list to help unattractive women realize that they're unattractive. Because I realize...
Man, she is a trip, man. You know what I'm saying? But she can get away with it. She's going to become famous, man. She's going to become, sooner or later, they're going to stop trying to cancel her and they probably going to offer her a movie role or something like that, man. Because she's funny. I've seen the clips of her shows, man. She's funny, man. And she don't hold back either, man. I mean, hecklers be out there, she be on them, man. And she's not scared to talk about black people, Asian people, Mexican people. She don't care. And this is the kind of comedy we want to bring back. You know, like I say, you know, I'm a Christian, and when they talking about Jesus or God or whatever, I understand that it's comedy. You know what I mean? You know, I'm not gonna praise that, and if I'm offended enough, I'll just sit there and not laugh. But I'm not gonna go on some kind of tirade and start attacking her, and you know, start going on social media and slamming her, trying to get her canceled or anything like that. I just won't laugh at it if I don't think it's funny. You know what I mean? But a lot of these people, these PC people, take it too far. They want to just come after you. They want to dox you, come to your house, do all these crazy things because they didn't like what you were saying on social media or in your comedy act. I mean, it's insane, man. But she is something else, man. She's very funny.
That no one's going to tell you to your face because they don't want to hurt your feelings. And usually when you tell a woman the truth, she cries and screams and throws a temper tantrum and demands that you change what you said, thinking that if she can get you to change what you said, she can make it untrue. Think about it, girls. You know I'm right. You know I'm right.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. My man told me I was gaining a little weight. I told him he was a faggot. It didn't change that I was a little fat. You know what did? Taking that information in and not eating donuts. So, for my chopped 304s who don't realize that they're chopped, I've prepared a list to help you, okay? Here's some of the things that would give away that you are in fact a 5 or below. Number 1, you work in an office. No attractive woman works in an office for longer than it takes for the CEO to start banging her and setting her up in an apartment.
That is so true. That is so true. Like I said, it's like if you really attractive, we talk about model attractive, okay? You not if you even work in an office, it won't be long because eventually you'll get some type of promotion. Because I've seen it happen. I worked in offices too, man. I seen it happen. Women that it's like hot women are passing through. They don't stay. Because I remember back in the day, I used to get angry because most of the women that I worked around, because I used to work like at a call center or whatever, right? And a lot of women that I worked around were mid or unattractive, right? So you'll notice when a really hot woman come through, right? And you hoping she stay, but you know deep down inside she's not going to stay long. And they never do. They never do. They get promoted, they get another job or something happens, whatever. But they never stick around long, right? So I've seen this. Like I say, man, they don't have to. If they really attractive, man, they're gonna get offers after offers, you know, even bull crap jobs, you know, that's not even real. They get offers. People will make up positions just to hire them. And she right about the bosses trying to bang them, even female bosses. Okay, so she's completely right about this. Right? It's usually the people you see in a lot of these. You know, I'm noticing of late. Because a lot of bars that I go to, I like to go to like restaurant bars because they don't got clubs that much out there anymore. So restaurant bars, that's what I call them anyway. A lot of bartenders and a lot of waitresses aren't that attractive. A lot of them are mid. Back in the day when I was younger, man, they were hot women were all over. You go to Hooters, you go to all these places, hot women. We talking about getting close up there to model type women in there, right? You rarely see that anymore these days. You rarely see it because you be wondering where they at. Never since social media came out, guess what? You see them in Dubai. You see them in Miami. You see them all these places, man, doing social media, making money on social media. I mean, it's like, you know where they're going. They're not trying to get stuck in no office. They're not trying to do no 9 to 5 because they're hot. But this is not nothing new. Really, really hot women always had a leg up all the time. They always find rich men or somebody to take care of them, or they'll get some kind of job made specifically for them. I mean, like, yeah, she's completely right when it comes down to this, completely.
Telling you right now, if you work in an office and you've been doing it for years on years, you are at best average and most likely below average. Here's what happens when an attractive woman starts working in an office.
Oh, I just want to slide this in. The difference between her and what you call it as Myron Gaines is that she does have insight when it comes down to women more than Myron Gaines does. Why? Because she's a woman. So she's taking different takes than Myron. I'm sure if she brought this up to Myron would agree with her, okay? And he might have said something close to this. But she does have a better insight when it comes down to women, especially the bad ones.
All the harpies start attacking her. They attack and they attack and they attack until she's either fired, she quits, or she starts sleeping with the boss's son. Attractive women are not long for the office.
It also happened, like, I don't know if you've seen Lean on Me when they attacked that at the beginning of the movie, when they attacked that girl in the bathroom because she was attractive. You see that a lot in schools too. A lot of girls will target really hot girls. They'll attack them, and you'll feel sorry for them. So guys become pretty protective over these women, and these women take full advantage of it. And I think that's where they learn it from, because a lot of mid to unattractive women always targeting them, always scrutinizing them, always harassing them. So they learn early in life to get men protection. And then I guess that just happens when they get older too. They start getting men to pay for things, get men to fund whatever job that they want or business that they want, or to get to marry them and all these things, right? So it started at an early age. Hot women really have to find protection, either with other hot women or with men. So they learn it pretty early.
There's another sign that you are average or below average in looks as a woman. You take the bus. No attractive woman can take the bus because...
Well, I remember when I crashed my car. Right? Tore it up. And so I had, for a certain amount of months, I had to take the bus, okay? So she right, man. You never see any hot women on buses, man. You never see them. And I've done gig work too. I've done stuff like Uber and things of that sort, right? So, for extra money. And you would pick up really attractive women, but not that many though, but you would pick up some attractive women, okay? And usually it's in a situation where they don't want to drive their own car, or they want to hang out with their girls and go out drinking, so they'll take a freaking Uber or something, right? I'm sure if they had the choice, they wouldn't do it, but because they don't want to get a DUI or whatever, they're going to take Uber or Lyft or something like that, right? So it's very rare that you would like pick up a really hot chick, but you know when you go into a really fancy restaurant or something like that is a lot of money, there's a good chance you're gonna pick up an attractive woman, and most likely she's gonna be tipsy as crap because they love to drink. Attractive women most of the time love to drink. Okay, so yeah, I've been on buses, I've done it all. And look, what you got to avoid the crazy people on these buses a lot of the time. Loud, screaming, crazy stuff. People that smell sometimes. And I'm not trying to insult bus riders because I was riding buses too. So I'm just saying that you come across some interesting people. And one thing you don't come across is really attractive women.
She will be raped. No attractive woman will be fucked. You will never see an attractive woman at a bus stop. Why? She'll either be picked up and trafficked, or she's got a man who loves her enough who'll drive her wherever she needs to go.
She is so right, man. I don't see them at bus stops either. And, like I said, only time let's just say you do see somebody really, really attractive, right? because she don't understand her attractiveness, like a teenager or something like that, right? She's walking down the street by herself or something, or they both walking down the street. They don't really understand how attractive they are. But when a woman comes to the point of understanding how beautiful they are and the potentials that they have, you don't see them walking down the street. You might see them crossing the street to go to the car or something, right? Something like that, or coming out the grocery store or something. But you don't see them just walking down the street. You don't see them taking buses or bus stops or none of that stuff, right? She's completely right about that. You know, you see it, but you don't really think about it. But she's making me think about it. That I look back about this stuff. I'm thinking, yeah, she's right. She's right. You don't see. They only go to the popular places. Because you go to a hole in the wall, you won't see no hot chicks. You won't. You know what I mean? You see a lot of overweight women. You see a lot of unattractive women to mid women, whatever, right? You don't see really, really attractive women unless you go to a really, really hot spot. Then you see them all over the place. Or you go on some kind of expensive trip somewhere and you'll run into a bunch of them, okay? I mean, that's the only time, because they finesse their way to the good life. They do. And I don't blame them, man. You know, take advantage of your looks if you can. You know, while you have it. And that's what they do. That's what they do.
Here's another sign that you are average or below average. You post a picture on Instagram and there are tons of comments telling you how beautiful you are from other ugly women. You look at those comments of those women and they say, wow, you're so beautiful. Then you look at them and go, oh, of course you think that because you're ugly. I got bad news for you, sweetie. You guys are on the same level of attractiveness. Ugly women love to boost other ugly women.
That is so true. But I mean, but look, let's take Taylor Swift. Now, look, as famous as Taylor Swift is, and as popular as she is, and she's not unattractive. I do find her attractive, but she, especially if you took her makeup off, she's kind of on the average end. Okay, she's not all that beautiful. I'm talking about like a runway model. She's not a runway model. I mean, she might got a nice body or whatever and a cute face, but she's not a runway model. She's kind of on the average end. I mean, more on the pretty side, but she's not like really hot like Angelina Jolie when she was younger. Now, Angelina Jolie was gorgeous when she was younger. She's still attractive now, but she was really gorgeous when she was younger, okay? Because she had these full lips and all the kind of certain traits you just know that's gorgeous. And Taylor Swift could not be no Hollywood star. She couldn't be, not based off her looks. I mean, her acting ain't all that great either, but I'm just saying if we was talking about looks, she couldn't do it. Not unless she's some good character actress or something, you know, something like that. But other than that, man, she couldn't be a very attractive actress or a supermodel or anything like that. But she is famous and popular, okay? And guys find her attractive. But y'all know where I'm going with this, okay? That's what I'm saying. All right. But yeah, but you know, a lot of them, and the reason why I brought her up is because a lot of women go on thing calling her beautiful on social media, talking about how great she is. They love her album, all that kind of stuff. But they know deep down inside, even though she's famous, she falls more on the average looking category. And I think that's the reason why they praise her so much. You know, I mean, I'm sure it's because of her talents too. Don't get me wrong. But I think that they deep down know that she's not the most attractive woman in the world. All right. She's not ugly. And she, like I say, she's more on the attractive end of that 5 and 6. Okay. But she's not the most gorgeous thing in the world. And I can't imagine what she looked like without makeup. Okay. I can't imagine because I've never seen that. But she's a cute girl. She's a cute girl. But we're talking about supermodel gorgeous. All right. You know, they don't need to be famous. They don't need money for guys to come for them, okay? That kind of thing. Because if Taylor Swift was broke and nobody knew who she was, she'd be working at that 9 to 5 like the next person, probably riding that bus. I'm sorry, if you're a Taylor Swift fan and you don't like this, I'm sorry. But I'm telling you from a man's point of view, if she didn't have that fame and that talent, she'd be just another girl, man. Just another girl. And deep down inside, a lot of y'all know this.
Because even though they're pretending not to know, they know the truth. They think that if they can bring down the scale of attractiveness to the level that they're at, so everybody's on that level, then they cannot be revealed for being the hideous monsters that they actually are. Now,
Oh no, she knows she trolling, man. She trolling. And you know, I notice whenever Trump become president, which is only the second time, but whatever he is, people like her just come out the woodwork, man. They be completely honest about that. But then they got to go and hide, and like when a Democrat comes in, because they start censoring people and coming after people. You know, like what's happening in London and in UK. You just say a few things, this would be called hate speech or whatever, right? And they'll throw you in jail for it. But yeah, they come out the woodwork, man. But she is a trip though, and she knows it, because when they were doing this women body positivity thing, you can tell they were trying to force men to love. Matter of fact, they were trying to make men like transgender women. You know what I mean? They really, really, really were trying to drag us into places that we didn't want to go. You know, and I'm just saying, man, they really were lowering the bar big time when it came down to attractive women and non-attractive women. They really, it's like they all look. If we can't physically be a supermodel, we're gonna at least make this world, or at least make the United States or the Western world treat us like we supermodels. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So they were pushing for that big time. But like Victoria's Secret example, right? They were having all kind of women on Victoria's Secret, right? And they were losing money, and, you know, in viewership, not because of the men, because they miscalculated. They thought the men were watching all these shows. It was the women, and the women stopped watching because they wanted to attract the women. They didn't want to see no average looking woman or a disabled woman in a wheelchair or limping down the runway. They didn't want to see that. It doesn't make you a terrible person because you don't want to see that, okay? You know, I mean, like, I'm sure most people probably got some type of disabled person in their family, and they don't hate that person because they disabled. That's not the point. It's Victoria's Secret promotes a certain type of standard, at least in the past, okay? And women expected that, especially hot women. They don't want to see less hot women on Victoria's Secret, and Victoria's Secret had to learn that lesson after losing so much money. So they had to change course and start bringing back really attractive women. I don't know if it's too late or not for them, but that's what they did. But yeah, she right.
Now, I'm not saying that you're going to want to be with some slob who lets himself go and doesn't take care of himself. That's not quite what I'm saying. But have you noticed this phenomenon? Have you noticed that you'd see a man who kind of looks like Tony Soprano with a really attractive younger woman? And you're like, now we all know Tony Soprano, he's not going to be on the firefighter's calendar of the year. That's not the body women are dreaming of. But this is a pretty common trope. Why? Because that man is attractive to a woman in the ways that matter for a woman. He's got power, he's got money, he's got confidence, he's got decisiveness, all of these things that make a woman feel like I've got a protector and a good man, and I can trust for him to take care of me and our offspring out in the world because he can compete.
Yeah. It's like, that's the advantage we do have over women, right? Now, they can go on there calling us chop men all day long on social media, right? But they meet a chop man and he got all this money. They gonna consider it. They will consider getting with him. You know what I mean? At least for a certain period of time until they can finesse him or something like that, right? But then they'll consider it still. Of course, they still want really hot guys. I'm not taking away from that. And it would be a gem for them if they can find a hot guy that have a lot of money and a lot of clout and a lot of confidence, and they lucky enough to get them. But, you know, that's rare. That's rare. Hot guys like hot women. It's just that simple. They'll sleep down, like she said, but they really want to be with hot women. And that's all you see. And this is the thing. If you're less attractive, right? I don't fall into the model man category. I'm not hideous or anything like that. But when you see people of that stage, you can admire them and be a little jealous at the same time. Because you look at them, when you look at hot people, they look like they have the life, okay? Because they fit, they dress well, they seem like they have money. They could be faking it, who knows? You know, and they got a hot girlfriend or hot boyfriend or whatever the situation is. And people tend to get jealous, but not to the point when you start attacking them and, you know, getting mad, trying to change society to love you just like people love them. Everybody at some point have some type of envy towards somebody that's gorgeous, that has money or whatever, right? It's natural. It's natural. If you don't got no money and you see a guy that got rich money and a lot of women around him, you're gonna get somewhat jealous or envious over that. But women, what men do, we work hard to try to get that money, so we can be that rich dude with women around us, right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about normal dudes. I ain't talking about crazy guys that, so jealous they'll go out hunting for people like that. But I'm just saying that this is normally what men do. I see a guy, he making a lot of money, and he's fit and all this kind of stuff. He's getting all these women. So what do I need to get the same kind of clout this guy do? I need to make money and get fit. That's how we handle it. Women, on the other hand, they go into politics. And what they do, they try to change reality. They try to change it. Talking about body positivity for a 300-pound woman. She's attractive. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. You should date her. If you don't date her, you hate black women, or you hate fat women, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They try to change reality. That doesn't work. Not long term. Might for a little bit to stroke their egos, but it doesn't work long term. But yeah, she's right about that. And a lot of women, if you got enough other characteristics about you, they will consider you at the least.
Attractiveness, in terms of absolute objective attractiveness, isn't actually what you're saying. You might be saying these men are chopped because you're judging them. This is why men don't do so well on dating apps, right? Because you can't really assess all these things from looking at a picture. You're looking at objective attractiveness, and that's not really going to tell you whether or not that's the kind of man you're going to want to be with. It's not the same for women, because men don't change their attractiveness to a woman, really, unless she's like totally BPD or something. But
yeah, they trying to be like us. We go on dating apps or whatever, right? We looking for looks first. That's us. That's how we operate. Women usually looking for providers, protectors, things of that sort. But of late, because of social media, they looking straight for attractive guys. That's it. Because they want to be out there hoeing. Big time. So when you hoe, usually with attractive guys. When you're looking for something serious, something solid, you go for the guy that can provide, that can protect, give you offsprings and take care of them. Those are the kind of guys you hunt for. A lot of the times you don't find that on dating apps. They find it in real life among their friend groups or whatever situation is. This guy nice. I like him. He seems like he's motivated to make money. He wants to be married. Even though he might not be a model or whatever, though, I do find these traits attractive in him. So I will give him a chance. Okay? And men look at you and I'll bang you if you average, but I don't know if I want to marry you. But then if years pass and they don't care anymore and they made their money and they ran the streets or whatever, men be like, okay, I'm going to marry myself an average girl because she'll be less of a problem for me, okay? I don't got to worry about all this high maintenance craziness. You know what I mean? It got to be something like that for men. But generally speaking, we love attractive women.
based on the way she's behaving. Men kind of have a more objective evaluation of a woman's attractiveness. Now, you can be totally hot, and a man can recognize that. He's not going to stop thinking you're hot just because you're BPD, but he's not going to want to date you. Now, and if he's sane, he's really not going to want to date you eventually he'll get to that point, right? But it's different with women. Men actually physically change how they look to us based on how attractive we find them as a whole. So here's another one. If you guys know Stephen Molyneux, I don't know how to say his name. He's pretty cool. I saw some of his stuff before he came back on Twitter. He's pretty cool, but he's been going to work on trying to get men and women to couple up and have babies. And I agree with him. This anti-natalism shit, it's directed on the one group it works on. Think about the only demographic that is not having babies. We all know it's not the Indians. So Stephen's trying to reach out to these people, and he said, ladies, you can't all demand top-tier men. Mathematically, it doesn't work. This is correct. And here's the thing. Ladies, you, for the majority, are not top-tier women. Mathematically, it's impossible. You understand what average is?
Well, that's what they do. They'll remember that statue in New York that black dude did from France or someplace, right? Where they had that like overweight woman statue. they bring down the looks so these women can have chances. And I notice Hollywood and all these people promote women like this, okay? People that are looking like Oprah Winfrey or whatever, right? They try to promote them, calling them gorgeous and beautiful. So all these women can get, hot guys. But that's not how nature works. You know what I mean? Women should be less, what's the word I'm looking for? They should try to look about the man's characteristics more than his looks, okay? Now, I'm not blaming a woman who wants an attractive dude, but they gotta look further into what they need. Because if they're not trying to be hoes or whatever, they just really trying to find a husband and be taken care of, they really, 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 really have to look at his character. Look at, if he's motivated, if he seemed like a family man or whatever, right? He's close to his parents, things of that sort. So they really got to work hard when it comes down to this. But women are like brainwashed these days. I don't care how they look. They out there thinking that they're going to get some hot guy. And a few of them out there sleep with a few hot guys. So they start to think, this is the kind of man I'm going to end up marrying. And it never happens. Because the guy, good looking guy, he having a rough night. He just want to get his thing wet. So some girl, average looking girl, that he finds certain parts of her attractive. She might got a big breast or a big butt or something like that, or healthy lips or cute eyes, whatever. Some trait about her turns him on. So he decided to give her a chance and he hit it. Then afterwards, after he's done, he loses attractiveness. It just soups out of him. All that horniness, all that desire, everything else just skeets out of him. You know what I'm saying? And then he looks at her and he sees her for what she is. And at this point, he like, okay, I hope I never see this chick again. I'll erase her from my memory. Once I leave this apartment, I'm not gonna think about her again. I'm gonna block her on my phone. I'll never give her another chance. And deep down inside, these women know that he's gonna feel this way after the sex too. They know it. But they still want to hang on to that lie, that fantasy that this guy saw something in them. That's the reason why he decided to give her some time. But it's not. That's not the reason. You know what I'm saying? Good-looking guys, they do have their days when they get tired of the same gorgeous women, because a lot of times these women are kind of empty in the head, shallow and stuff like this. So they get tired. So they meet some girl who's average, who can put in a conversation, an intelligent conversation. He's sitting there. And then while he's talking to her, they might be talking about Star Wars or something like that, right? So while he's talking to her, he start to see little traits about her. Like I said, her butt, her breasts, or something about her that's attractive. You got to remember she's still a woman. And now he's starting to get attracted to her at this level. Now, most of the time, he's just going to hit it and quit it. But once in a while, these guys might be like, start a relationship with a girl like this. But that's really high hopes right there, okay? That's really high hopes. And a lot of times that don't happen. They'll hit it, and the guy, like I said, all that attractiveness just seeps out of him, and he done. And he be like, yeah, I'll call you later, kind of stuff. She knows deep down he won't, and he disappear. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, yeah, it's rough out there for women, man. They really need to be careful about the men they choose. They really do.
Mean you can't all be above average. You'll end up in a disposable harem and then end up very much alone. Everyone settles. Please learn how, because the price of solitude is unbearably high.
That made the women furious reading that.
I am very much in agreement with Stephen on a lot of things here. It is correct. You will end up in a disposable harem. I know you're sleeping with these hot dudes and you think this is what I should be entitled to, but that's not what's happening. That hot dude is sleeping with a lot of women. And if you are not that attractive, I can guarantee you are on the bottom of his totem pole.
When attractive women start to do that kind of behavior, becoming disposable women in harems, it's usually with oil tycoons or something like that, Arabs or something, right? They go for the big bucks. These women just do it because they just think the guy attractive and they just want to have sex with him. Hopefully he'll give her some attention. But really, really attractive women, they go for the money. They go for the big time. You know what I'm saying? Hoping that he might pick them, or at the least they can walk away with a big bag. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy stuff, man, how things changed from the time that I grew up. You know what I mean? When I was a young man, it was just different. Women understood the positions they were in. And when guys came up and talked to them, they didn't, try to embarrass them most of the time and act crazy and think they were too good for every man or whatever. It's really, really bad these days. Really bad. But I really like her, man. I think she's very funny. She's sarcastic. Her comedy is good. And the fact that she's able to speak her mind on YouTube, man, that's just amazing in itself. I'm surprised she hasn't been canceled and her account deleted at this point with the kind of stuff she says, though. But I find it entertaining, and sometimes you get some insights from her because it's a few things she said that I kind of liked and I didn't really think about. I mean, a lot of the stuff you kind of like in the back of your mind is there until somebody say it. You really never really think about it. But she said a few things that made me think, and I like that. Okay, all right. I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna leave her link below. So you can watch the whole video. It looks like it's gonna be pretty long, so I didn't want to be here that long doing this. But yeah, she's really good. And you should definitely subscribe to her. She's really funny and she's really truthful. And I think she really think about these things before she come on YouTube and start talking about it. All right, I really appreciate all of you coming by. Thanks again. This is T and peace.